GeeKlare, Donnie and Kit. It's nerdy and full of green. GeeKlare, Donnie and Kit.
Happy Halloween month. I'm Donnie, and today we're spoiler reviewing a Pride Month horror film, Killer Body Count, available now, free on Tubi TV with ads. Killer Body Count stars Cassidy Edok Winnick, aka Cassie Edok Winnick, as Cammy with a C. Right off the bat, I'll tell you she was one of my personal highlights, one of my personal positives for this film. This film was released earlier this year for Pride Month. You guys know that I love holiday horror films if you've been following this channel for any length of time. Well, this is a film you can watch at Halloween time or Pride Month. And I like that angle. And if anybody doesn't like that, well, that's fine. Move on. We have plenty of other videos on here for you to enjoy. On the negative side, I will tell you that the opening scene, it's a little rough. It's a little hard to get through. The opening girl who is not Cassidy Edok Winnick, she was not the best actress. Neither was the guy in the scene with her. Honestly, I wish horror movies would put more effort into the opening scene again. You know, Scream 6 had one of the best openings to a Scream movie in a long time, to a horror movie in a long time. It subverted audience expectations. The opening to that original Scream movie still to this day gives me chills when he gets to the part about, because I want to know who I'm looking at. Horror movies, it seems like so many of them, especially at that indie film level, it seems like they have the mentality that, well, the opening scene characters are going to get killed, so it doesn't matter if they're good or not. It doesn't matter if the scene's good. It doesn't matter if they're good actors or not, because they're getting killed right away. No, it does matter. That opening scene sets the tone for the rest of your movie, and it seems like a lot of filmmakers have forgotten that. And I wish they would put some quality back into a really strong opening again. And this movie fails to do that. But once you get past that opening scene, you're pretty much golden. We follow Cammy for a while, and she's very entertaining. She gets sent to a religious abstinence camp after getting caught trying to get it on with her boyfriend. Now, you might say, boyfriend? I thought this was a Pride Month horror film. It is. Just wait. And in fact, that's my second biggest positive for the film. The naughty, raunchy sexual comedy in this film. The gay and the straight stuff. They have both. When we finally move away from Cammy and we see the boys' cabin at the camp and their point of view, and these guys are just trying to get laid, it reminded me a lot of the raunchy sex comedies. It reminded me a lot of like American Pie or Porky's or one of these type of things. Honestly, I wanted more of that. It felt like there were two different movies going on at the same time. One following a girl in a horror film headed for a disaster, and one, a bunch of dudes just trying to get some at a camp, and knowing there's an adjacent girls' camp, and knowing that an abstinence camp probably isn't going to work. That was fun. That was a fun time. On the negative side with the boys, I will say that the acting was a little questionable, and unfortunately, that left me with some questions. There are moments throughout this film when guys are joking about doing certain acts with girls and even doing certain acts with one of the other guys. There's a threesome joke in there. And because the acting was so questionable, I couldn't tell if the characters within the film were joking or if they were actually serious. And either way, it was funny to us, the audience, but I couldn't tell if they were serious or not, which means I had difficulty understanding their true motivations. So, second negative right there. When it comes to the killer of this film, generically called the Devil, their mask is equally as generic. Didn't like that, but I did like the twist that this film puts on the old classic slasher genre. You know how in horror films there's always two characters getting it on, and inevitably the killer shows up and unalives them? Well, in this film, the unaliver only unalives if the victim has, what's the proper word? What's the medical term? Splooged. That's right, the cool, clever twist on this one. You have to achieve orgasm in order to be unalived by the unaliver in this movie. which means none of my ex-girlfriends would have been safe. Am I right, fellas? Comment down below. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe that's a lie, I don't know. Ladies, would you have been safe? Comment down below. Some of y'all are like, I'd have been safe for sure. Some of y'all know. We learn about the backstory of the devil character, and then later learn that it was all made up anyway. It was made up ghost story BS. Again, great subversion of expectations by the writers of this film. This thing had so much potential to be great, and it's only a few things that probably hold it back. All in all, I had a good time with this one. I will say that when it comes to the Pride Month representation, they could have maybe done a better job there. The characters aren't overly stereotypical or anything, but when we finally get to Cammy having a lesbian relationship, the timing of it is really, really bad. When we get there, at that point, there's already a killer out there. He's already coming after her and her soon-to-be girlfriend and stuff. It just didn't make sense that they're running away from this psychopath and then they stop to have a quick lesbo scene. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was realistic. And as you would expect, once Cammy discovers herself, that's when she achieves release. And at that point, you're like, oh no, one of them's doomed, right? Well, again, we're talking spoilers. Get out of here. I'm about to spoil the ending. Give you a minute to click out. By the way, if you're looking for another Pride Month horror, there's not a ton of them, but They/Them was made a few years ago. That one is entirely set at a gay conversion camp. Almost every character there is queer, a lot of representation, but also a horror movie, so a lot of not happy endings for them as well. But that's another one you might throw on if you're looking for something with majority representation in there. In the end, they throw a twist at us that it's not just one person running around in a cheesy devil mask, it's a whole religious cult angle slasher movie. I don't know that I like that. I thought that was not executed well enough. I don't think they did enough to set that up. And it just goes back to the whole theme of religion is bad that you see in a lot of these horror films. There's not enough of, and the religious guy was actually helping us in horror. You got The Exorcist, and you got that one movie where Kreese from Cobra Kai was a priest and was actually doing good. Those are the two I can think of. Shout out to Martin Kove, underrated actor. And usually a great villain, so him as a good guy, that stuck out to me. This movie, Killer Body Count, though, none of the actors really stuck out to me, apart from the star, which I guess is a good thing. You want your star to shine. In the end, Cammy and her girlfriend both survive, and we assume they take down the religious cult. It feels like the movie just kind of ran out of money. You see a kind of cheesy ending. They pan in on the face of the devil, and the devil goes, "Who are you?" And Cammy hits the one-liner and makes a weird face at the camera, and they run at the camera with the knife, presumably to deliver the unalive blow to the unaliver. But then it just cuts to black, so we have to assume that they won the fight at that point. I didn't care for the ending to this film. It kind of ruined it for me. But what did you guys think of Killer Body Count? Comment down below. Do you want more Pride Month horror films? Do you want less? Like I said, I like a horror film that you can get double the value out of. You can play it at Pride Month or at Halloween time. And, 9 times out of 10 in these movies, in fact, 10 times out of 10, it's usually a straight couple getting it on when they get unalived. So, you gotta give the ball to somebody else. You gotta share a little bit in life, But yeah, comment down below, what did you guys think of Killer Body Count? Do you want a sequel? Fingers crossed we have a lot more planned for Halloween month this month, so come back soon and take another bite of the pumpkin spice GeeKlare.